All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome. Much love and gratitude for tuning in for this very special interview that I have today. I am joined by the wonderful, the lovely Jahidah Diaab, who is the author of The Blended Garden, right? She is a wonderful director, a screenwriter. She has a best-selling book as well, right? And we are very
The
grateful.
book is called The Gift of Pain,
The Gift of Pain.
put together by the wonderful Alina Fernandez, and 31 other authors.
Of course, of course. So viewers, be sure to tune into that. All right. And today we're going to talk about nature. All right. So again, much gratitude for tuning in, for your time today. All right. So we're going to get right into it. All right. So me and you, we love nature, right? We love the outdoors, right? We love animals too, right? Which is how we really connected. So when you actually hear the word nature, what comes to mind?
When I hear the word nature, honestly, I'm going to be really honest. When I hear the word nature, I think of honestly, I think of like these big stores that sell like all the backpacks and the tents and the hats and the gear, so that you can go out into nature and have an experience. That's when I hear the word nature. But it's an experience that I have when I just have it every day, every moment of every day.
Absolutely. So you say like it's more of a feeling to you, right? Like you feel like you're in nature, right?
Yeah,
Like
it's funny. Like, I think like sometimes when we think, okay, I'm gonna get like into nature, we think, okay, I have to go and do something. I have to do something big. I have to plan it, and I have to become this different person that's like, oh, And I have friends that are always like, you spend so much time in nature, and you must be so peace all the time. I'm like, oh no, no. I'm not always at peace, but nature does calm me. And I tell my friends, look, I'm not a granola girl. I don't eat, chia chia seeds and things like that. I think it's a wonderful thing. But I don't know. I just think sometimes when we think of nature, it's an external go-to place. But like for me, nature has just always been um like this amazing experience. I was always needing my mind to be doing something as a child. And, my siblings were a little older than me, so I always felt alone. And I just remember as a child, like just sitting outside and like looking at the clouds and watching the clouds form into the shapes and really seeing different things. And um, it was wonderful. I remember when I had chicken pox as a kid, I had to lay in the bed. That was like, oh my God, I had to lay in the bed all day. And I remember, I think I was 7 when I got chicken pox. And I just remember the window was there, and I was seeing this tree that's in my backyard. And all day I looked at the tree, and the tree became like it was the form of a woman, and it just kept changing shapes for me. So, like, nature has been like a companion, I think, to keep me company. I remember we would take long trips as a family, and coming home, I remember being in the back seat, and children are funny. I work with children. And a lot of times, children are having all these amazing thoughts in their heads that their parents and grown-ups have no clue what's going on. So I remember being a child, really believing that the moon was following me, you know? I mean, that may be a little, self whatever, like, sorry, honey, the moon's not following you. You're not that
yeah,
important.
the moon follows me. Can you say that?
Yeah, right. And so it's funny because just this morning or 2 days ago, I wake up early. I just walk every morning, and the moon was there, and I was walking alongside it, and I saw it. I'm like, wow, I remember when I was a kid, and I used to think that the moon was following me. nature's just always been just a companion. I don't have to do anything. I don't have to fix my hair. I don't have to brush my teeth. I don't have to do anything. And it's just there to keep me company, you know. And so I don't think nature's something I have to go out and achieve, you know.
Absolutely. It's a beautiful thing. And like a lot of times, like we're in our like loneliest moments where we feel lonely, right? And we go out into nature. Like you said, that's when we really realize that that's our companion, as you said. So it got me through a lot of, lonely times per se. And I think it can be, applied to all the viewers that's listening as well. And with that, so a quote that I heard from you, right? And I quote, nature is forgiving and returns every season. So can you explain this for us?
Yeah, nature is forgiving. I grew up religious. I talk about it all the time because this is part of my life. And growing up religious as a child, you learn to be judgmental. You know, you learn to, even though religion teaches you to forgive, you really are not learning how to forgive. For me personally, I should speak for myself. I learned how to be judgmental and look for perfection in myself and look for perfection in others, which is so contradicting when you're learning that the Most High, that power is forgiving. Um, and fluid, but I wasn't fluid and I wasn't forgiving. So that's one thing I love about nature is that it is very forgiving. And, it does come back every season. Sometimes in the winter I look at the trees if I'm taking my walk and it's like dark out, sun hasn't come up yet, and I look at the trees and I'm just like, you know what? I know the trees are like, that's all right, we coming back. We'll be back in the spring. We're not dead, we'll be
Mm,
back. And it's just so resilient. It's gonna always change and come back different and consistent. Just, you know, sometimes I just sit and look at a tree and I'm like, wow, you were here before me, you gonna be long before, after I'm gone, and every day I come outside, I know you're gonna be there. You're just gonna be there.
it's gonna be there.
You're gonna be there. You may look different, you know. And unless someone comes and chops you down, you're gonna always be there, just like the sun, just like the moon, and it's forgiving. Like okay, like the sun. I love thinking about the sun and how they say the sun shines on the good and evil. But when you really, really think about that, imagine if the sun was like how maybe I was when I was growing up religious. Imagine if the sun was like, well, you do this, well, guess what? Today you don't get any sunshine. But that's not how nature works. You could have the Jeffrey Dahmers of the world, and they're in this little 2x4 cell, but even they get to get out and get a little bit of the sun. And even if they don't get out and they have a small window, they get to still see the sun. So nature doesn't discriminate. And nature doesn't say, you people over here, you have access to me. Like, you think about just historically with, how people were treated during, slavery and all before the civil rights and all that kind of stuff. You drank from one fountain, you couldn't drink it, you couldn't sit here, you couldn't go there, you couldn't do this, couldn't do that, couldn't do a lot of things, but nature's like, you can smell all my flowers, honey. You can smell all my flowers. You can do whatever you want to do. You lay in the sun like everybody else. Like I think about, say like let's just say Harriet Tubman. I'm sure when she woke up in the morning, she was able to have a moment with the sunrise, and no one could take that from her because nature is accessible to everyone. But here's the thing, I don't think we access it the way we should and the way we could. You know what I mean? Like and I'm guilty of it. I got my phone and I have like my job, my projects, everything is in this little brick. This brick that I stick in my purse, I call it. And I'm like this all the time because I'm working and I'm doing things, and but then I know how to shut it down. And when I break, and I know how to use nature to boost out my mind. But we just live in a time now where you know it's still so accessible, but we don't see it. You wake up and you walk out, and do you even see the sky? Do you even notice, like, my kids are grown now, they're like 21 and 16. And yeah, when they were little, they got sick of it because it was 4th of July and I was taking places with pools and balconies, so we feel like we're doing something special. And the fireworks would come on, and we'd be on the balcony, and it'd be a full moon. I'm like, oh, look at the moon. They're like, Mom, the fireworks. I know, but look at the moon.
Look at the moon though.
you know, and and but I love it because now that they're older, my 16-year-old, I remember I came home one day and I hate the MTA. I hate traveling. If I didn't have to travel, I don't know. I just hate traveling. But anyway, at the end of every day, I'm always like, God, like I have nothing left, and the trains are crowded, and when I get up at my stop, it's 5,000 people, and I ride an elevated train, so sometimes the sunrise is right there. But I remember this particular day, I was like, man, people getting on my nerves. And my son called me, my 16-year-old, he said, Mom, look at the sky. It's pink. And I thought, wow, thank you. But that's because that's what I put in them, you know? And, I just think, it's there. So you have to see it. Because what if it's not there? Imagine we woke up and there was no sky. Imagine we woke up and there was no sun, and there was no trees, and there was no flowers, there was no color. It was just like a black and white desert. Can you imagine?
You
That's
want to talk
real.
exactly. You want to talk about people that's even more stressed out. Like what? No sun, no sunshine. What? Like when it's like it's real gloomy outside, it's real cloudy, right? A lot of times, a lot of us we get, might feel down, right? And it's just like, man, what is it? Right? There's no sunshine, right? And then it's like when that moment comes where, it's the sun shines through the clouds, right? It's like this, oh, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, they do it in the movie. Like,
It's like it's feel good, it's feel good moment.
they
And
call it that winter depression. It's real.
it's real, right? So it's like we a lot of these things, we some of us may, we may take for granted sometime, right? Until like you realize how important it is for us. So like especially when we indulge in activities in nature, right? And I know for you, you love to garden, right? You're the garden expert, right? So
Well, what's so funny, Let me tell you something funny. Is nature. I didn't grow up. I didn't always love gardening. Okay, as a child, gardening was punishment.
Mhm.
Okay, so if we were bad, we had to go outside and pull up weeds. So that's how my mother punished us. Go outside and pull up all them weeds. you know. So as a child, I hated gardening. I hated the garden. I didn't want to be a part of it. But I watched over time. My mother was always out there, and when I went to college, I would bring my college friends home, and they were all so impressed because she would have tables filled with tomatoes and squash like as big as your leg, and they'd be all laid out. And she's giving us vegetables from the garden, and my friends were always like, "Oh my god, oh my god!" I was like, "Whatever," you know. So it wasn't until my mother passed that I really um, developed a love for gardening because I had my children, and of course you do what you know. And I was homeschooling my son at the time too, so a lot of our curriculum was gardening. And I don't know, when your mama tells you to do something, it's like, oh. But then when someone else tells you to do it, it's like, okay. So it was like one of those things I was like experiencing it for myself, and I remember just feeling that dirt and pulling things up, and it just gave me love. And then that kind of went along with my creativity and I have visuals of what I want the garden to look like, and then I have these neighbors, they're older women, They were called I called them my gardening grandma. So I was not a gardener with a green thumb. So I was going and I was buying plastic flowers and I was putting them in my front yard, right? So they would take walks by my yard and they thought they were real. And, they looked at them. And so when they were walking down the street, she was like, come here. She's like, why do you have those plastic flowers in your house? And so she started me like, no, this is what you're gonna do. And then I just started doing it. It's everything my mother taught me, but I guess, like I said, somebody else says this is a whole different thing. And then I just went crazy. I started seeds of everything, and then this is the magic that happened that really lit me up about gardening. So my kids were small. Mason, my 22-year-old, was I think 4. One of my best friends, well, her daughter, she was 5, 6, and we were all hanging out, and I had bought these wildflower seeds. So I was going to teach them how to garden. So we had this whole plat of dirt, and then something happened where we smelled gas, and I was like, what is that smell? So I called the fire department and they came, and I was distracted. So I had to go down to find out where the gas leak was because we were doing some construction. They fixed it, everything was fine. I came upstairs, them kids took all my wildflower seeds and threw them everywhere. It was a big old bag. I was like, man, no. I was like, okay, you don't want to be mean at it because the next season, my whole backyard and front yard was filled with bachelor buttons. Bachelor buttons are these tiny little like purple and blue flowers, and they grow up tall, and then they bloom. And oh my God, that's when I fell in love with flowers. And I just started buying all different types of flowers, and they still come back to this day. I'll send you a picture of what it looks like in the
Yes.
spring.
You said bachelor buttons?
They're called back. Yeah, I'll mail you some, and they reseed, and that's when I said nature's forgiving and comes back. You have these perennials that they just keep coming back. They come back, and you don't have to do anything. Like, and that's why I'm not. I don't consider myself like I'm a gardener. I just find plants that come back, and I don't really have to do anything. I just let nature take it forward.
So perennials are the ones that come back yearly.
Annuals don't. Annuals, you gotta kind of go to Home Depot and buy. And I used to do that, but I was like, I'm not doing that. That's wasting my money. That's
Right.
But I'd rather let nature do its thing.
Yeah, so letting the viewers know, like, hey, I'm a student and I'm learning as well. So, we talk about perennials, and I wonder, like, well, I guess with the climate that you're in, if they still growing, they would don't have a problem.
Yeah, well, you're in a warmer climate, right? You're in like what, Kentucky?
I'm in
Right?
Kentucky, so
You're
that's
in Kentucky.
we still have like 4 seasons. So you think it'll still?
You still have 4 seasons like we do. Yeah, no. Okay, so here's the thing. They winterize. So over the winter they get stronger, and there's so many lessons in nature. Like if you put something in the ground and then you let the winter hit it, it comes back like 10 times stronger
Mm.
because the winter cold it does something to it, and then it just comes back stronger. That's why I try not to plant anything in the spring. I try and put it in the fall, winter, and then let the winter, solidify it. And that's kind of like us, like, when you go through hard times in life, that's the winter. Everybody got to go through a winter in life. Everybody. I've been through my winter. And, when you go through a winter and then you come out in the spring, like you're a completely different person. You bloom brighter, you bloom stronger, you know, unless somebody put some toxins on them. Because that has happened in my garden.
Hey, so if I had a horn right now, I would blow it because I want the viewers to make sure they heard the wisdom that you just gave, right? We just talked about when the winter hits, right? It comes back stronger, right? So like you said, when these situations happen in life, right, and we bounce back from them, we bounce back stronger, right? So I wanted to reiterate that for the viewers, like what you just dropped was like the DJs, they'll drop the bomb. Yeah, exactly.
Wait. I don't have a mic. I dropped my eyeglass case. I dropped the
Yeah,
mic.
drop the mic. You know what I mean? That's the interview right there, you know? But like, okay, so when we talk about, your journey with gardening, right?
Yeah.
So how did the Good Vibes blended garden come about from that?
Okay. So, I'm not, I've fallen in love with Instagram, but I never was a fan of Instagram. I was really a Facebook person. I'm a writer, and Facebook, and I think there's older people hang out on Facebook, and you can like write stories and write narratives, and Instagram was like snapshot, selfie, and that really wasn't me. But I started my Instagram because I started making blends, which are like, smell good, lotions, all kinds of fun things from blending different, smell goods together. And Good Vibes is just, I just feel like, look, life's so short. Like, don't be an idiot. Don't be an idiot. Don't do things that's gonna just make people miserable. So, Good Vibes, that's my platform. And if I could put something out that makes people or friends just have a good thought in their head, because there's just so many other toxins that can come in this world that, you can scroll and see 10 stories of somebody dying, somebody killing somebody hurting somebody just being nasty, whatever. I want people, if they scroll through and they see something for me, it just does a little shift in their brain. So Good Vibes Blended Garden. And that's where I promote my book, I promote my blends, I do a lot of speaking presentations, different parts of the United States, mostly New York, where I just talk about, diversity, inclusion, and I think that's because that's what nature is. Nature is inclusive, nature is diverse, and nature is good vibes. I mean, who doesn't like a flower? Like, if you don't like a flower, then, you may have to check your.
Yeah. And yeah, and I love what you said, when you said nature is diverse, right? So with that in mind, like, what's your opinion on getting more people to really accept gardening, right? Because, some people think of gardening as, they kind of scoff at it or kind of look over it, right?
Right.
But what would you tell people to that's never really gotten into gardening, right? What would you tell them
About
to
gardening or nature?
gardening, excuse me. Yeah.
Oh, I think I would tell people just stick your hands in some dirt, see what it feels like. Just see what it feels like. It's a really amazing thing. That's earth. And there's a reason why it's there. That's where the source of everything we eat, everything, it just comes from the trees that we can breathe. Everything comes from the earth. So just like stick your hands in some dirt and feel it. But as far as nature goes, I feel like this. Either you love it or you don't. I remember, I'm gonna tell you, so I was on a date one time, long time ago. And when the gentleman and I, we left the restaurant, and that day the sky was just, oh my God, amazing, like electric blue, and the clouds were like perfect white, and there were no buildings, so you just saw it. Look at this sky, it was so amazing, so beautiful. I was feeling romantic, like, oh, it's so beautiful. And he was like, what? Like, he didn't get it.
Wow.
And in my head, I was like, okay, this is, we ain't having a second date.
Exactly.
You gotta have some kind of connection to nature. But then here's another story. I was working at a place, and my boss, he hired me, wonderful man. He had come to New York, but he had spent a lot of time in the East, right? So funny, when I did my interview, I was sitting on the floor, I was like, what in the world? But he had come from the East. So I didn't really know a lot about people from the East and things like that, their cultures and their ways, like that from retail things. So one time we're having this meeting and I'm on the floor and I'm blocking the doorway because there's nowhere to sit. Everybody was all over the place. And he was walking through from another meeting and he was with, I guess, a colleague or someone who was visiting who was from the East. And I was blocking the doorway. So I said, oh, you can walk over me. And the man wouldn't walk over. He wouldn't step over me. And then he kind of bent down and he said, in the country, they don't walk over people. It's disrespectful. And I was like, oh, yeah, okay. So I moved so he could walk through. right? So that's the first part of the story. Second part of the story is this. I caught him one day outside of the building. We were walking. He had to go downtown. I had to go downtown. So we were walking downtown. Manhattan, busy, and there's a lot of noise. And I could tell he was stressed. Like I could see it in his face. You know, when you just walk with someone, you could feel it. And he's talking, and yeah, city is this. He wasn't made for New York. So I said to him, I said, look up, just look up. And in the middle of all the buildings, in the way it is in Manhattan, you only get a sliver of the sky. But in that sliver, when you looked up, and I said, better, right? Better, right? I'm like, yeah, don't forget to look up, because in other cultures, other countries, other places, other cities, the sky is just there. But when you live in New York, and you have to be intentional about your nature. So like for me, I get a lunch break every day, and I leave the building. Jahidah is not in the building at lunchtime. And I go find me some water, wherever that water is close as I can get to it. And if it's only 5 minutes that I can sit with my coffee or my lunch, or, just sit by myself and see some water in the sky, that's what I do. And then I go back to work. Because I just think it's just so important. It's like, it's medicine for your mind. I mean, the way the world is now, with the phones and the this and the that and the things we have access to see. Oh, just on YouTube, I'm a YouTube freak. And I'm telling you, if I wasn't like in nature every day and just in that, oh my gosh. But then I'm gonna stop talking because I know you have questions, but there's so many different things.
No, you're fine. And like when you talk about YouTube, like YouTube will catch your attention and it won't let go, right? Like I'm gonna go on YouTube, check out a video, right? And I look up 2 hours and went. I'm like, man, what happened? Right?
It's so true. It's so true. Well, that's why I learned to use it as a tool. Like I listen to a lot of Stoic philosophy on my walk sometimes. I like to listen to a lot of like brain focus music and nature sounds and things. So it's a tool. And then, every now and again, like that day you called me, I was like, I'm watching junk TV today. I'm going to sit home and watch all the junk TV I can watch. So sometimes, you go to that place, but you gotta know how to pull it back. You can't live in that place. You can't live
Exactly.
in that place. It's not healthy. That's why, we have so much depression, and we have so many pills, and we have so many, and not that there's anything wrong with that. If you need a pill to get you through the day, then take that pill, right, and be right. Okay? But I know what depression is because I've been through it. But I never took a pill to get out of it. I used my mind to go to other places, beautiful places, and that's what nature is. That's why people run to nature when they're stressed, because there's beauty there. It's there for a reason. It's your medicine, it's the medicine that was given to us. People take it.
Absolutely. I saw that reminds me, I saw a post where it was a bear, right? It was a grizzly bear that was sitting and looking at the landscape, right? And
Mm-hmm.
then the captions was like there has been a study to show that out of any animal, bears the most take time and actually view the scenery, right?
Mm-hmm.
As in like sit back and just,
Wow.
you know what?
Yeah.
I think it's just beautiful, right? So it's just it,
Yeah.
inside the mind of a bear, right? And so that was a picture, and then there was like a video with it, right? So he was a wildlife photographer, and he was out and about, doing this thing, and all of a sudden a grizzly bear walked up,
Uh-huh.
right? And he wasn't like the bear didn't show any signs of aggression. The bear just kind of, looked over and was like, "Hey, well, hey, I live here too. Hey, what's going on?" So the bear
Okay.
just kind of stopped at the water, sat down, and just kind of started looking out. It was an older bear, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he was an older female, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the bear was just sitting and just kind of took it in, and it's like they had this moment,
Wow.
right? Because he's probably within 50 feet, right, of this grizzly bear is no joke.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
But I guess maybe it was that nature like calmed him down. He wasn't like, aggressive. That's another thing nature does. It just takes away the aggression. It's like, you know, and it's funny when you said the bear was like, this is nice. This is beautiful. Every year I go to the beach by myself. That's my birthday gift, right? And that's my like reflection from my life. I don't do like New Year's resolution. I go to the beach by myself on my birthday. But when my kids were small, I had to go and make it a social event, which I didn't like. But you got kids, you got to go to the beach. You know, down, and like, ah! So,
Yeah.
but now that my boys are big, I go by myself. So I had this really wonderful epiphany one time. I was sitting there, and like I said, I grew up religious, and I remember I was in this group, and everything was, this is awesome, it's awesome, everything is awesome, awesome, right? And I found myself always saying, it's awesome, it's awesome. And I stopped saying awesome. I'm like, awesome, stop saying it, don't say awesome. So for me, so anyway, so I'm at the beach and it's beautiful, sky, the sun, the water, the sand, and I said, you know what? I'm not gonna say this thing in my head is beautiful because that's taken away from because now the expectation is so up here.
Mm.
You understand? Like when I'm looking at it, it's awesome. Okay, it is awesome. Like how it was with that dude that I went out to eat with.
Yeah.
Wow! And he's like, yeah, okay. So what I said to myself was, whenever I'm in a beautiful space, now I'm like, I'm gonna be like Mama Bear. I
Yeah.
love your story. I take it in. I go, you know what? This is nice, and that's it. And when I say that, this is nice. I moved out to Niagara Falls, and when I go to the falls, this is nice. And then when I say this is nice, I'm here, and the nature is here. And then I can like really take in the beauty. But when I'm like, oh my God, it's amazing, I can't get there. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's almost like he's saying, kind of let nature provide the excitement per se.
Yeah, there you go. It's like, you don't have to do anything. Just let me be me.
Yeah, exactly. Like I tell, I love to go hiking, right? So, sometimes when people, go with me, they're like, well, kind of what do we expect? And I'm just like, look, we gonna go hiking. You never know where the adventure will take us. Right? So we go, we gonna start off this trail, but we might end up, at cave on the other side of the forest, type.
Mm-hmm. But see, that's the thing. Like, that's our mentality as people. It's like, what are the points? Let's connect the dots. Where's the map? Where we going? We start here, we end there. But that's not how nature does. Nature's like this process that you have to wait for. You can't see. You going out and like, when you gonna grow? When you gonna grow? When you gonna grow?
Yeah,
You just gotta wait. You gotta walk away and come back, and then be able to be like, oh, let me take it in the future. You know. And it's like with children. Like, children aren't there to perform for us, you know? It's like, just let them be. Just let them be. Like,
let
let
them
it be.
be. And yeah, it's. I wish like I would have gotten into or attended, right? Because there was opportunities to learn more about gardening, right, as a kid. Because I was more into like sports, right? So it was like these opportunities, like it was chances to go and do these things, but I was like, no, I'm gonna just go over here and play basketball instead, right? But I think now, as I get older, right, it's kind of like I feel like those opportunities, right, should be more um taken per se, right, by the younger generation, right? Because I feel like now knowing the benefits, right, that say gardening has on, you know, um, mental well-being, clarity, and how therapeutic it could be, right? I think like the earlier like we learn that, then the better off we'll be, right?
And
So
it teaches you, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
no, that was it. I was saying the better off we'll be.
Yeah, it teaches you to like, just honor the spaces that you're in. That's what I learned as a child. First, being around nature. My dad took us out fishing. We get up at like 3 in the morning, and we would go out to Lake Kensico and Lake Ashoka. And I remember it was 4:30, 5 in the morning. And as a child, I was able to watch the sun rise up off the reservoir. walk, they'd be like, just go. They'd be like, just go somewhere. And we would go somewhere. We'd be walking wherever, seeing all kinds of things. Now you do that, they call ACS on you. But back in the 70s, this
Different.
nigga gets out to the woods in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
But it's like when I was telling you the story earlier, when I was reading that message, how disgusted I was when I was walking in the street, and I was in Manhattan, and I passed a Chipotle. Someone would say, you don't say it right now. Chipotle. I passed a Chipotle, and there was these two teenagers, and they were just hanging out eating, and the kid stood up and he spit a lungy out of me. And I'm walking by, and I see everything, so I just caught it. In a restaurant? Like where's the mindset that you would spit in a restaurant? You didn't grab a napkin, go outside, go in the garden. So that scared me. That made me like, but that's that's why I raised my kids to love nature, because they're conscious of the space. They're conscious. When you're conscious of nature around you, then you're conscious of the man-made space. You have a little more respect for the man-made space. So I'm thinking about this kid. He's lucky I have somewhere to go, because I really wanted to go in there and be like, what do you do that, son?
What are you doing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
These kids don't know. I mean, I hope I look young, but I'm like, look, I could be your mama, and I really had a mama moment. I was so, ugh. But it just made me think, yeah, like if you don't respect or get that, I don't know, engagement with the natural world and the natural spaces when you're young, as you grow older, you don't respect the man-made spaces. You don't even acknowledge the natural spaces. But then the man-made spaces made for you to enjoy, you don't respect those either. And that's why it's scary. And that's why, I wish that they would really push nature onto these teenagers. And I work with young children, so I'm always trying to throw nature in the mix. Dirt, flowers, mud, whatever, sky, look up, lay down on the ground, look, the sky, look at the clouds, something, put it in them. Especially because we live in a city. If you live in a city-like place, it's harder. So anyway, I'm just going off the cuff. Sorry.
No, you fine. I think that's powerful. And I believe that folks like us was put into this space to really push that, right? To let the younger generations know how important it is, right? To indulge in nature, to indulge in gardening, right? Hiking, whatever, right? The activity may be, as long as you're in nature, right? Because we got so much technology nowadays, right? That you can become disconnected. So, like with that said, what is something you want to leave the viewers with? I know.
Um, okay, can I just say something else before I say that?
Yeah,
I have to say this. So how we met. Can I just talk about that?
yeah,
So I love talking about how I meet people, because I think connection is everything in this world. That's my thing. So I don't know how, I think well, obviously we met through our special group that we go to. But I was scrolling through your stuff and I saw your video. Wow, who is this dude? He's like in this beautiful place with plants. He's talking about owls and like, what's going on? Who is he? And I remember I kept seeing your posts. You were posting and posting, and I noticed. And this is why I say everybody like and subscribe to this guy. Find him on social media, because I noticed like he had like 3 likes, 2 likes here and there, but he kept posting, and I said, I want to follow this guy. I want to follow him because he is putting out something that is wonderful, beautiful. And even though it's like 3 likes, 2 likes, 4 likes, whatever, because the world right now, you got to be doing something crazy. So like we always say, you don't do it for life, you do it for love. But I just have to tell you that's why I followed you, because you are passionate. This is your work. This is who you are. And it wasn't about the likes. You want to keep posting. You don't keep posting because this is what you do. You don't post it for likes. You post it because this is what you love. And I was like, I'm following him. And let me tell you, I listen. Like I told you, I listen to your videos when I go to sleep at night. I listen to it. If I'm in the car on the way home and I'm stressed, I listen to what you're bringing to the platform, and I hope more people listen. And I hope people's minds go to that kind of thing because I think it's a really wonderful thing. So anyway, your question was
I'm
what would I
grateful for that.
try?
Very much so. To know that, what you're doing is helping someone. And like, like you said, a lot of times, you putting out, things to be of service and you don't know if people are receiving it, right? But to actually hear someone, say that they are, right, and it's helping them, it's kind of like makes you want to continue, right? So I just want to say thank you for that. I appreciate that. Um, yeah, so you know, pretty much it was you've dropped much wisdom on us, right? Myself included, right, in this interview.
You want
So
my quote? I'm sorry. I got distracted. I'm sorry.
no, you fine. I was just coming back around to it. I was gonna
Oh, okay, I didn't know. I'm sorry.
no, you good.
I can distract people. I'm sorry. I'm like, I'm the squirrel.
Oh yeah, and that's a pun. Like the viewers, y'all gonna see what that means soon. So what's something you would leave for the viewers? Part of wisdom.
Well, if it were a quote, I have two quotes. One is from I love Stoic philosophy, and it's about nature, and it just is let's see, I wrote it down so I wouldn't forget it, but it's different into oh, the universe is transformation, and our life is what our thoughts make it. And I just believe that, your brain will not work in its full capacity if you are not engaging in things that are different, even if it's different people. And nature is so different for a reason, and we are all so different. So if you're just talking to the same people, the same thing every day, and doing the same thing, your brain is just not doing, it's not at its full capacity, you know. And then my second quote is it appeals from the book of the garden when the flowers say we are all so different, our colors unique, blended together, and you see a great truth. And I really love that. That's my personal quote because that's how I feel. I feel like you spend time. I remember I was walking home from work and this man, he's a Sikh, yeah, I think he was a Sikh, and he was walking. He was just walking with this squash from here to the floor, and I was like, oh my god, where did you get this? And he didn't really speak English. He was just so happy. He's like, I was like, oh my god, can I take a picture? And we had this like amazing connection about his big old squash. And like this is just how life is supposed to work. We're supposed to connect with people that are not like us. And that's what makes and then I walked away from him feeling like 10 times better than before I saw him. So yeah, I think just blend together, come together, and yeah.
That's beautiful. So with that, I'm going to put your links in the description, but can you let the viewers know how they can contact you, whether for, to read your books, for your blends, or just to, connect with you on a level of, speaking about nature or gardening?
Yeah. Well, I'm on LinkedIn, under Jahidah Diaab. But if you just type in Google search hashtag Jahidah Diaab, all my stuff that I do and that I'm engaged in that I love comes up, whether it's presentations or my blended garden, the book. Yeah, so hashtag the blended garden.
Right, the blended garden. So viewers, you have it here. Again, I'll put those links in the description so they can, you know, get to you with one click type of thing.
Oh, wait, can I before we go, can I just show you?
Yeah.
These
Uh, uh,
these were given to me by a wonderful parent, this young lady, and I was walking my son to the bus stop and one fell. I was like, go ahead, go to school. I'm coming back with my ear. I gotta find my earring because I won't find these.
yeah.
And I ran back and I found my ear because it fell out of my ear. But I had to just share these things. Aren't they beautiful? They're like actual depot leaves.
Yeah, they're beautiful. So see,
They're on
everybody,
the tree. Depot leaf trees, right? Okay, I'm just running my mouth. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, you good. It's just everybody. You see how bright Jahida is shining, right? She's shining just like the earring she's wearing, right? So she got a spirit of gold, right? You can
Oh, that's sweet.
So with that in mind, again, I want to thank you, Jahidah, for your time, for coming on, for sharing your wisdom, and really teaching us things that we didn't know, right? So I applaud you in the work that you do, and
Thank you.
thanks. And I know we have a lot to look forward to. All right.
Yes, I'm so excited. Thank you for having me. This was so much fun chatting with you.
Absolutely, absolutely. And likewise. So stay tuned, viewers. Many things are coming.